This is MA Trust 22. Responding to your video. I already made a video, but I realized that it was extremely not really compassionate, and that's something I want to get across to you because what I'm about to say may offend you. So I just want to put it as formally and as loving as possible, and let's get right to it. At the beginning of your video, you talk about God having a sense of humor. I'm not going to touch that. But what really got to me, to your video, to my heart, was the fact that you didn't know why you needed to go to heaven. And something that even made me even more upset about this was the fact that you said that you were once a Christian, and now you're not, and now you've come on YouTube. Saying that you were once a Christian and you don't know why you need to go to heaven. You stated that you needed to, in heaven you'd be serving the Lord. I think this is incredibly dangerous what you're saying, because this is what you're doing. You're coming on YouTube saying that you came from a Christian background and that you actually preached some of the things you're saying now. And the problem and the reason why it's really dangerous is because what you're preaching and what you're saying that you learned at church or whatever you went to is completely not congruent to the Bible. So what's going to happen is people that are on the fence, Christians, atheists, they're going to watch your video and they're going to say, oh, this guy once was a Christian, and look at this theology that doesn't make any sense. And then prejudice starts happening to Christianity. That's what there's already. But it's just something that's going to turn somebody off because it's untrue. It seems that the doctrine that you learned, or the theology that you learned, is really just not even surface level, man. It's not even. It's just untrue. You asked, why do we want to get into heaven? This is why we want to go into heaven. We are on the earth, and we experience a lot of negative things. America went through 9/11. That's the type of thing that the world offers us in terms of negative feelings. They're there, and it's terrible to go through them, and we're frustrated, and we cry, and people get sad, and more often than not, people go through hardships than they do joyous times. But what I'm trying to say here is that there is a lot of destruction, and this destruction and all these things are really terrible, and they're awful to go through. And I'm sure you've gone through hardships. No one has lived their life completely perfectly without any trials. And so I think that you have to realize, getting to heaven, we get completely separated from deception, from lies, from sorrow, from hurt, to sadness. It says in the Bible there'll be no sorrow, there'll be no tears. It also says in the Bible that where we won't be serving God, in fact, there's going to be a wedding, there's going to be a feast. The feast is going to have maybe soup, maybe some salad, but for sure it says there's going to be some meat for us, and we're going to eat a lot of meat. It's going to taste good. There's going to be mansions, there's going to be places for us to live, or just to go to. There's going to be a place for us to worship. There's going to be a really great band that God's going to have a solo at one point, and it's going to be completely off the hook. And once you're there, it's going to be, you'll never want to leave. One of the scriptures, or one of the songs that I've heard, I think it's in scripture, but I'm not 100% sure, that says, better is one day in your house than thousands elsewhere. And I think that's a good description. And I think you have to realize that heaven's not going to be a boring place. In fact, it's going to be just unbelievable, and nothing that we can even imagine. The Bible just kind of gives us little snippets of heaven's going to be like, but it's going to be so much more, something we can't even fathom. We can't fathom God. We can't completely grasp our head around God, but think about that place. Think about that place He's made, His throne. It's going to be totally beyond our comprehension, but it's going to be amazing when we get there. You start talking about, first of all, that's why you want to get to heaven. Now you start talking about some other questions. You start saying that, it seems like just a whole big setup, that God would create the earth. God created the earth because He knew we were going to sin in the first place, and so that's why He made the earth, because He set us up because we're going to sin and go through all this destruction and terrible, and it just seems so much like a setup, and it's hard for me to think that a God would put us in this kind of setup just to damn us, because He's going to send us all to hell, or no, send some of us to hell because they don't believe in them in not great circumstances to believe in Him. And you start doing the analogy of the cookie jar, and very funny analogy. One thing you're missing, my friend, is that the cookie jar, I'm going to use your analogy, the cookie jar was placed in Eden with the kids, right? He's in the kitchen with the kid, and the kid knows that he's not supposed to touch it. But the thing is, he doesn't have any desire to touch it. He doesn't want it. Why? Because mom and dad said, don't eat it. You don't want it. You might get sick. And he goes, oh, okay, I'm not going to touch it. And he doesn't have any troubles with it. He doesn't do that. It's okay. I'm cool with it. That's what the kid says. But then his friend comes over and says, hey man, the cookies, it's chocolate chip, man. He's like, what's chocolate chip cookie? And he's like, oh, it's like, if you haven't had chocolate chip cookies, I can't even tell you how good chocolate chip cookies. You gotta try one. You just got, like, honestly, try one. It is amazing. And the kids go, well, mom and dad said that I shouldn't eat it. They're like, because they want all the cookies to themselves. Come on. And like, whoa, oh, okay. And he tries a cookie. See, and Adam and Eve didn't want to eat the fruit. Adam and Eve didn't want to disobey God. They didn't want to do that stuff. They had no problem not eating of the fruit, because God said don't do it, and they trusted God because God is God. He knows what's best for you. And therefore, when Adam and Eve, when that kid did take that cookie, they are disobeying their parents. Disobeying, and they know it was, and they know it's wrong. And they say earth is, this kind of place where God was going to throw all the sinners, because He knew it was going to happen. You know what, man? Hell is made for Satan. Heaven is made for God. But God made earth so we can actually live on it. And at one point in the Bible, and if you're reading Revelation, we're going to go there. After the final battle's done, we're going to go onto earth and live there. We're going to have a good old time. And there's not going to be destruction or sin or anything like that during those 1,000 years. We're actually going to be there for, like I said, 1,000 years. It's actually made for a purpose, not because God tried to set us up. Alright, man? Hope that answers some of your questions. Hopefully it isn't, I haven't come across mean or anything like that, because you know what, I was halfway uploading my video just about, I don't know how long it's done, 7 minutes ago. And you know what, God just said, don't give it to him. He's going to react badly to it. So hopefully hopefully you find this video compassionate, because I do care about you, man. And I want you to get your facts straight, bro. I want you to, may I encourage you to sit down with a Christian, and you don't have to become don't have to become a Christian, but like write some questions down that you would like. Sorry about that, I ran out of memory space. So sit down with a Christian and have a bunch of questions that you would like to talk to them about. And just kind of get some facts straight, my friend, and so that you may come on to YouTube and not kind of present us with incredibly fictional doctrine that you've learned. Try to get a better understanding. Try to have some empathy, so that you can understand God hypothetically, because a lot of things might not seem a lot of sense to you. But as soon as you get a little bit more some of these questions answered, you might be able to understand them hypothetically. Alright, man, thanks for watching if you did. Take care.